The 3-inch M1918 gun was a United States 3-inch anti-aircraft gun that entered service in 1918 and served until it was finally superseded by the 3M3 gun in 1930. The M3 was subsequently replaced by the M190mm AA gun just prior to the opening of World War II. The M33 gun was later adapted for the anti-tank role, serving as the main armament of the M10 tank destroyer during World War II. The predecessor, 3-inch M1917. The 3-inch M1917 was the United States Army's first dedicated anti-aircraft gun, entering service during World War I. Only a few were built, as the similar 3-inch M1918 on a mobile mount was considered more useful and was produced in large numbers. Development of the M1917 started in 1915, and as the name implies, took 2 years to enter service. The gun was essentially an unmodified 3-inch M1903, 76.2mm L/55, coastal defense gun barrel on a new fixed mount, allowing it to be aimed to high elevations. A number were used during World War I on fixed mountings, 116 were completed by April 1919. Most of the weapons were deployed at United States Army Coast Artillery Corps installations after World War I. In the immediate post-war era it was developed as the 3-inch M2, using a removable barrel liner. In 1928 it was further improved in the 3-inch M4 by using a thicker removable liner that eased manufacturing. However, the M2 and M4 appear to have been produced in small quantities. The M1917, M2, and M4 remained in service through World War II. History of the 3-inch M1918. For mobile use, the original coastal gun was too heavy, so a smaller version was developed as the 3-inch M1918. This weapon was based on the 3-inch gun M1898, a smaller predecessor of the M1903. This weapon had a barrel 50 calibers long instead of 55 calibers, and a smaller breech with a different cartridge, 76.2 x 585R, 212 cubic inches instead of 76.2 x 690R, 293 cubic inches. The barrel of the M1918 was shortened to 40 calibers and a semi-automatic breech was added. Semi-automatic on this type of weapon meant that the breech would open automatically after firing. Like the adaptations that created the M2 and M4, the M1918 was also fitted with a removable liner in 1927 and a barrel 50 calibers long, becoming the 3-inch M1. A year later the M3 weapon was introduced with a larger removable liner. Another upgrade was started in 1931 as the T8, and then T9, but these projects were cancelled in 1938 when the 90mm gun was selected in their place. In September 1940 a project started to adapt the 3-inch gun to the anti-tank role, starting with the T9 experimental model but equipping it with the breech, recoil system, and carriage borrowed from the 105mm M2 howitzer. The gun was accepted for service as the 3-inch M5. A similar derivative of the T9, the 3-inch M6, was intended to be mounted on the M5 self-propelled gun, which was eventually abandoned. A final adaptation was the 3-inch M7, which included minor modifications for mounting on the M6 heavy tank and M10 tank destroyer. M7 saw wide use, although it was supplanted to some extent by more powerful weapons such as the 90mm M3 and the British QF 17-pounder. 6,824 M7 guns were manufactured. Variants: 3-inch gun M1917 original fixed-place anti-aircraft gun introduced in 1917. M1918 mobile anti-aircraft gun using a cut-down version of the original M1917 gun and a new mount. M1 variant of the M1918 with a removable barrel liner. M2 variant of the M1917 with a removable barrel liner. M3 development of the M1917 with a removable barrel liner, but a mobile system like the M1918. M4 version of the M2 with a thicker liner for easier manufacturing. M5 version of the T9 adapted for anti-tank use. M6 version of the T9 as mounted in the 3IN gun motor carriage M5. M7 version of the M5 for use on the M6 heavy tank and M10 tank destroyer. Self-propelled mounts. Heavy tank M6, M7 gun in mount T49. 3IN anti-aircraft gun carriage T1, Garford 7 1/2 ton 6x4 truck chassis. 3IN gun motor carriage T1/M5, high-speed tractor M2 chassis, M6 gun. 3IN gun motor carriage T7, trackless tank chassis. 3IN gun motor carriage T15, Ford 4x4/6x6 truck chassis. 3IN gun motor carriage T20, light tank M3 chassis. 3IN gun motor carriage T24, medium tank M3 chassis, M3 gun. 3IN gun motor carriage T35/M10, M4 Sherman chassis, M7 gun in mount M5. 3IN gun motor carriage T40/M9, medium tank M3 chassis, M1918 gun. 3IN gun motor carriage T50. 3IN gun motor carriage T55. 3IN gun motor carriage T56, T57, light tank M3A3 chassis, M7 gun. Surviving examples. The only known surviving example is located at the Fort Sill, Oklahoma Museum. 3-inch gun M1918. Type anti-aircraft gun. Place of origin United States. Service history. Used by United States Army. Specifications. Weight 12,200 pounds, 5,500 kilograms. Length 24 feet 11 in, 7.6 m. Barrel length 12 feet 6 in, 3.8 m, 40 calibers. Width 6 feet 11 in, 2.1 m. Height 9 feet 2 in, 2.8 m. Shell fixed 76.2 x 585 mm R. Shell weight 15 pounds, 6.8 kilograms. Caliber 3 in, 76.2 mm. Breech semi-automatic vertical breech block. Recoil hydropneumatic. Carriage 4-wheeled cruciform carriage. Elevation plus 10 degree to plus 85 degree. Traverse 360 degrees. Muzzle velocity 2400 feet/s, 730 m/s. Maximum firing range 25,800 feet, 7.9 kilometers, AA ceiling.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.